Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our men's advanced Bible study night, Friday night, the 28th of March, 2025. What I'll be doing for our topic for discussion, I'll be going in the book of Jasher. I'm connecting some dots for things that's written in the book in the King James, but they're not clearly understood. So we're going to do it like that. Okay. Go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening, check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine the videos, and get the meat out. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, our hours that we are live is Tuesday and Wednesday night, 7 to 9 Central Time, PM. We have men's advanced Bible study night on Friday nights, 7 to 9. Okay, and then we have two Shabbat classes, one in the mornings on Shabbat, 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time, and then we have a evening Shabbat where we close Shabbat out. It's from 6 to 7 in the evenings, p.m. Okay, and then we have a Sunday advanced Bible study where we come together, dialogue, connect dots, read some scriptures, and it normally starts every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time, lasts about an hour and a half. Okay, so with that being said, those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Tanakh, which consist of our laws, our judgments that was given us, statutes, and our way of life. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel. And welcome to our men's advanced Bible study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms. We have some current events, some need to know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A, comments, and dialogue anybody have. Then we'll do a little recap from the week. Then we go into our topic of discussion, which is Jasher, connecting dots to King James. Okay, so we'll pick a scripture, and at the end we'll read that scripture and break it down. Okay, then we'll close out. It's a moment of silence for the Lord of hosts. All He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay, oh Lord, we come before Thee at the closing of your Shabbat, thanking You for Your mercy and Your great power. And we appreciate You, Lord, for Your patience and guidance in these last days. And we thank You for Your awakening of us to this great understanding of Your word. Lord, we see Your mighty hand in the world's affairs and how You are constructing Your people's deliverance. We trust and rely upon Thee. For this cause, we honor and respect You greatly. Turn not Thy face from us at this hour, but allow us in our searching of You to find You, O Lord, and to dwell with You. Peace be unto You. Okay, we're going to read the Psalms.
Yes, sir. Shalom. Brother Leonard, tonight's psalm I'm gonna read Psalms 12. And this says, God shall preserve the godly. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fell from among the children of men. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said, with our tongue will we prevail, our lips our own. Who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighting of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver, tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side. when the vilest men are exalted. Shalom. That's the end of Psalms 12.
Okay, you got any comments on that?
Well, to me, Brother Leonard, it kind of well, when it says the proud people, he's definitely talking about the children of wickedness.
Right,
In my opinion, that's what it seems like this chapter is about.
right, exactly. The same people that's in 2 Samuel chapter, I think it's 7, verse 10, when he says he's going to deliver his people and plant them back in the land of Israel, and the children of wickedness is not going to afflict them anymore. So these same wicked people right here. I want to shine light on verse 6, and it says, the words of the Lord are pure words, as silver is tried in the furnace, purified 7 times. So when I see that, all I can think of is 7 angels. When he says
Right.
purified 7 times. Okay, yeah. So that's like when he says Israel when Israel is sinning against the Lord, they go out to battle. He said they flee 7 ways. So same thing. Okay. So with that being said, we go to the current events. What I do is play it, and then we'll listen to it. Then we'll get some comments, break down the video. Okay.
In the last 24 hours, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at what he calls restoring truth and sanity to American history. He's ordering the Smithsonian to promote American greatness and threatens funding for any of the museums that have anti-American exhibits. Our Melissa Kim spoke to people visiting the Smithsonian today and joins us live with their reactions to the proposed changes. Melissa?
Yeah, hey there, Simone. Well, as you can imagine, it's been a busy Friday here on the National Mall with lots of people visiting the Smithsonian. And one of the most popular museums getting a lot of foot traffic today is one that President Trump mentioned in that executive order. It's the National Museum of African American, culture and history, which you see here right behind me. Now, in that order, the president states that the museum has proclaimed that, quote, hard work, individualism, and the nuclear family are aspects of quote unquote white culture. And in a section of the order he calls Saving Our Smithsonian, he also states that he will prohibit funding for any exhibits or programs that degrade American values and divide Americans based on race. That's a quote from the order. There are lots of families here today, as you can imagine, and I spoke to some parents about why it was important for them to bring their kids to this museum.
I think especially given the political arena right now, just for them to be grounded and know that they come from ancestors that did great and powerful things. And so giving them that confidence, even though around them they might not always see that.
Museums like this tell stories about different communities, and it's important that everybody in America has a museum like this to put emphasis on their culture, their identity, and their race.
History is power, and Black history has a lot of it's a lot of good history in there. And also in that executive order, President Trump targeting the American Women's History Museum, stating that it should celebrate the achievements of women and not any men identifying women in any respect. We are live at the Smithsonian tonight. I'm Melissa Kim.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody saw any of that or saw a video on that?
And so, Shalom, Brother Leonard, a Smithsonian is like a museum.
Yeah. It's a museum, and plus it got all kind of stuff on history, all kind of history.
Okay, so yeah, so this just seems to go along with what they're doing with the laws, like you said, with the Department of Education. They're erasing the history because people are waking up. When people discover, the farther we go back, the more powerful we see that we were.
Right.
And then, that's a problem for them. So yeah, this makes sense.
Right. Anybody else?
Shalom. I was just fixing to say no. I haven't heard anything of what y'all are speaking.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, if you don't understand what white Christian nationalism is, then you won't understand what's going on right now. But you got to go back and find out what that is and how it came about and where it's at now. That's who got Trump in the White House. Those white Christian nationalists chose him way back in the day when he first ran the first time. That's where the mega is, white Christian nationalism. It's those white evangelicals on steroids. I mean, a prime example is the Ku Klux Klan said that they was Christians. So that's white nationalism right there. Jesus white, all that. The angels white, that's white nationalism. Okay? Any comments? Okay. Yeah, so if you haven't watched it, I mean, I told you that video, it just came out. It was, I think, 99 cents on YouTube to watch it. It's called Bad Faith. BADFAITH. Bad Faith. Okay. So that's what everybody's talking about right now. Okay, next one is
Hey,
a little bit. But also, before we go into that, right, something got to be said. I've been seeing a lot of Hebrew Israelites make these posts about their disappointed with the Hebrew Israelite community. They lost faith in the Hebrew Israelite community. A lot of y'all have become Christians. A lot of y'all have put on the new man and then went right back into Christianity with a lot of these posts that I've been seeing. Do y'all not know we're in captivity? Do y'all just forget that, like, we're in captivity, we're subject to the curses? You know, the thing that y'all like to use, like Deuteronomy 28, to try to prove that we're Israelites, y'all just pretend like those just don't exist anymore. Right? And I want to bring this verse out real quick. So this is Jeremiah. Oh, wait, y'all can't even see that. Boom. Yeah, Jeremiah 17, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, or thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. So we see a lot of Israelites. I've seen a lot of Israelites. I mean, I don't know if everybody else has, but I've seen a lot of Hebrew Israelites. Oh man, I lost faith in the Hebrew Israelite community. Your faith is misplaced. If everything that's happened in the last few weeks has made you lose any type of affinity towards your people, your faith is misplaced. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as an Israelite, especially somebody who's been in this long enough to know niggas are going to be niggas. I want people to really understand that, right? Because let's go to Deuteronomy. Because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But let's go to Deuteronomy. I think it's 46, right? I'm trying to figure out how Israelites forgot this point right here. Let's start up one. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord, or Yahweh thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. This is talking about us as a nation. This isn't just one or two, or even which I want to call the Hebrew Israelite movement, the sect of us, right? And we're not, as a nation, keeping the commandments. We're subject to the curses, just like the prophet Daniel was, just like the rest of the prophets were. the ones who were in direct captivity, even though they were righteous. Those prophets and the people who were keeping the commandments in truth and sincerity, they made up the minority of Israel. Since the majority was wicked, they have to be subject to the curses. That brings us all the way to 2025. If the majority of our nation, scattered throughout the rest of the world, is being wicked, we're what? Under the curses. So this is why you see single moms. This is why you see so much turmoil. This is why you see brotherhood not lasting as long as we assume that they would. That's why you see all things like this. I thought we believed in the book, especially this, since we quote this to try to prove we're Israelites. Verse 46, real fast. I'm finished making that point. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So these are always going to be on us until we reach the kingdom. Because the thing is, when we're in the kingdom, let's go a few chapters over. Let's go a few chapters over. Deuteronomy 30.
Choose passion. Choose joy.
Deuteronomy 30:1. It says, and it shall come to pass, when all these things shall come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God have driven thee. So we shall call the blessing
Is everybody still there?
I'm here. I don't hear anything.
I think we lost him. He should be on shortly. The weather out here is pretty bad, so maybe that's something to do with it. They certainly are, AJ. That's been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah, man. I just feel like too. More recently, it seemed like it just been, happening at certain times. More recently.
Yeah, they know when we meet. I mean, they got all our data. They know, I mean, everything. There's nothing that we can hide from these guys. But yeah, I was in ministry for a long, long time. And they got to where they were posting naked pictures on my on my ministry page, and I had people dropping out left and right, not knowing why. When I went back to ask what is going on, they're saying, "How can you post these pictures?" I said, "How can you believe that I will post pictures after being in ministry as long as I have been, and that's all I talk about?" And then it happened to some of them, and then they realized that, you know, it was these people messing with us. You know, it's a shame that they didn't even stop to ask, well, let me see if this brother has something to do with this, you know?
Right. And instead of seeing if those actions lined up with your character.
Exactly. It's a real shame. Some of the things we were talking about, you know, these brothers claiming to be Hebrew Israelites. I mean, I found quite a few of them, and I used to tell them, you're just a Hebrew Christian. You still believe all the same thing. You haven't changed. You know, what good is it that you come to the knowledge of who you are, and then you continue to follow after the heathens doing what they do? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Cause I've seen the all I had knew before I had joined the channel years ago, that all I knew about the Hebrew Israelites was, you know, the guys you see on the corners in New York or whatever, or, you know, the guys in purple, you know, with the fringes or whatever. But yeah, they work with JC.
I agree. Here he is.
Yeah, go ahead. What y'all talking about? It seemed like to me every Friday this happened. All of a sudden it started happening every Friday. I had no problems till Friday night. But what y'all was talking about?
That very thing.
Okay, yeah.
How they're
It's crazy, man.
interfering, you know, in these days that you have to study and stuff like that, you know. So yeah. And also we
Yeah.
were talking about the fact, you know, some of these people consider themselves to be Hebrew Israelites who are they're still wearing the same outfits within Christianity, you know.
Right. Yeah. I'm still waiting on my my other computer to come up. Okay.
However they want.
Okay.
But we, at the same time, we can't be surprised when we see things happen in our community. And I'm using that word community colloquially because we're talking about people and fellow Israelites on social media and various places where we meet them. I don't mean the community as like we see like in the Bible where we lived amongst each other, because that's not, for the most part, that's unrealistic for all of us to literally live amongst each other in America, especially with us under the curses, as we can see, right? So when we see things happening to us inside of our quote unquote community, it shows us that God is real. I want people to really understand that. When you see things happening to us and you see us treating each other a certain type of way, when you see things happening, does that make it right? No. But what does that ultimately show? God is real. And it will continue to be like that until we're in the kingdom. Let's prove this. I'm gonna prove both things that I said. So, which I've said before this day, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God have driven thee, and thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children and all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn your captivity means save you from captivity, right? And have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations, whither the Lord thy God have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. So this hasn't happened yet. This is a future prophecy. I go into this all the time. So verse 5, and the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. This hasn't happened yet.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. I got some need to know information right here. Okay.
We've come a long way in the digital age. Just a decade ago, buffering videos tested our patience. Today, we stream in 4K. We make instant video calls and control smart homes with a tap. So what is next? 6G. A technology that won't just connect us faster, but in ways we've never imagined. Holographic conversations, real-time AI assistants, and an internet more powerful than ever. It will all be just a tap away. But with great power comes great competition. Countries and tech giants are in a fierce race to lead the 6G revolution. So who's ahead? Who's falling behind? Where does India feature in this race? And most importantly, how will this impact you? Our next report tells you.
Imagine a world where you could talk to your best friend as a hologram. Cars could drive themselves perfectly, and doctors could perform surgeries via robots. Sounds like a sci fi movie, right? Well, that's what 6G promises to bring to life. If 5G was like upgrading from a bicycle to a sports car, then 6G is like getting a spaceship. It will be faster, it will be smarter, and it will connect us in ways that are unimaginable right now. So, what exactly is 6G? It stands for sixth generation wireless technology. Think of your internet as a highway. Right now, with 5G, we have wide, fast roads where many cars can travel quickly, but there's still some traffic sometimes. And not everything moves perfectly. 6G will be like building bigger highways, that too in the sky. Cars will fly and never get stuck. 6G uses super high frequency signals called terahertz waves. They can send data incredibly fast, up to 1 terabit per second. That is 1000 times faster than 5G. It's so fast that you could download an entire movie in just 1 second. Most importantly, 6G will connect everything, not just phones and computers, but also homes, cars, factories, and even entire cities. So, who is leading the race? China has the lead right now. In March this year, Beijing released its national development goals. Cultivating the 6G industry is one of them. It's conducted successful satellite to ground laser communication tests that achieved data transmission rates of 100 gigabits per second. It has set technological standards for 6G. Major companies like Huawei and ZTE are also heavily involved. The government has also established a national working group focused on 6G. It provides funding for such ventures. So China clearly has the head start. But the West is moving slower than usual. The US is pursuing initiatives like the Next G Alliance. It aims to secure a prominent position in 6G development. Europe anticipates that standardization work for 6G will begin around this year. Companies like Qualcomm, Nokia, and AT&T are involved in research. But most experts believe that the West is a step behind. They want to make the most out of 5G before jumping into 6G. So, where does India feature in this race? The government has a big plan called Bharat 6G Vision. It aims to make the country a key player in this new technology. Here are three things India is already doing. One, investing in research. Universities and tech companies are working together to develop 6G solutions. Two, partnering with other countries. India has teamed up with Japan and Finland. This is to share knowledge and build 6G together. Third, encouraging Indian companies. Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel are getting ready to take part in the global 6G race. So, what does the road ahead look like? If all goes well, 6G will officially launch by 2030. But here's the big question: how will it change your life? Will 6G create a future where we're more connected than ever? Or will it bring new challenges we haven't even imagined yet? One thing's for sure: the 6G race has begun, and the winner won't just shape technology, they'll shape the future of the world.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom, yes sir, brother Leonard. That sounds like too the same things that you've been showing us as far as and even what Trump said, like the bill with the 500 billion or
Right.
whatever to build the AI infrastructure. So this sounds like the same thing. And I'm seeing like with the wildfires in different places, a lot of
Right.
those cities that I've seen that have wildfires, they have plans for those cities to be turned into smart cities
Exactly.
for smart cities to be built in those areas. Yes, sir. So
Exactly.
this sounds like the same thing. And then, Brother Leonard, it sounds like I'm trying to think of how to say it. Like when you say Elon Musk said we won't own anything, in in the digital society. So it sounds like they're making everything convenient. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Exactly.
And make everything fast.
I own nothing. I own nothing but be happy.
Right. Yes, sir.
Right. Exactly. Ain't there something? Yeah, and that's what a lot of these conflicts is about. And America losing, so they trying to stir the pot because they behind. Anybody else got any comments on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to read this quick thing to show you the effects of this stuff. I mean, I've known this for some years when they came out with 5G, but it said
Right.
scientific literature with no conflicts of interest shows that even below the limits defined by the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, microwaves from telecommunication technologies cause numerous health effects: neurological, oxidative, stress, carcinogenicity, deoxyribonucleic acid and immune system damage, electrohypersensitivity. The majority of these biological effects are non-thermal microwave radiation and has had been known since the 1970s. So these guys in the rush to try to go faster and faster are going to turn us all into vegetables, what it looks like to me.
Okay, right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna get out of hand because they tampering with something. It's like with them trying to go to the bottom of the ocean or trying to go to outer space. Those are restricted areas. So all you can expect is disaster. Okay. Anybody else got any comments? Okay. We'll open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments or any dialogue about anything they came across they want to talk about? They heard on this channel?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I had a question to ask you about if you seen Trump. They said they've sold 1,000 of those gold cards, which was like the green card, but it cost $5 million. They
Right.
said that they sold like 1,000 of them at this point. The last time I checked,
Okay.
I forgot how much money that is at this point. But what do you think about that, and what do you think they're doing with that money?
Well, like I was saying before, when you look at Trump and the people that's around him, it's all about they businessmen about making money. Look at him. He made that sneaker. What any kind of
Yeah, yes, sir.
sneaker,
Yes,
what
sir.
kind
The
of
gold, the
sneaker,
gold
everything
sneaker.
got to do with him. And he is nothing about him that's athletic. So what is you trying to promote a sneaker for? So they tell you right there, you're all about money. He got the patent on that red hat.
Right.
You know,
Yes, sir.
yes, that's what it's all about. And then when you understand how they work, like I was saying, they already told us, and we already see it happening, that everything gonna end up in the movies and all. Everything gonna end up in Africa. So look at the billions of people that's in Africa. So the situation you see with Elon Musk, yeah, he losing on his end, but he looking at the greater gain that he gonna gain. He gonna get all that money back if what they got planned go come into effect. He gonna get all that money back. He ain't gonna be like he even lost nothing because of where they going and the money that's involved. Yeah, and that's how they think. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
I just want to say also that I heard that they're auctioning the documentation that they used to impeach Trump. That's out there, and they're supposed to be getting a lot of money from that. I can't even believe they're doing that, but yeah, they are.
Okay, I believe it. They're all about money. Look at the only reason why, because I remember back when everything started happening with me was I started researching. I never had been to no bookstore. I wasn't no reader. I wasn't none of that. But all of a sudden, when the Spirit of the Most High came on me, and I started researching and doing stuff, I was looking. I thought about it, and I said, "Now, we know that they hook with our scriptures." So I said, if we wanted to know the truth. It's surrounding David. You ain't figured it out yet. The truth is, it's all around. So you got three men that was around David: Nathan, Gad, and Samuel. And we got the book of Samuel, but we don't have no. We know it's a book of Gad, and we know it's a book of Nathan. The book of Gad is really the book. So I looked everywhere. I couldn't find no book of Nathan. Couldn't find nothing about Nathan. I couldn't find nothing about Gad. That was like 1998, 97, around up in there. Couldn't find nothing. Then all these people, black folks started waking up, searching out information, searching out books. Then all of a sudden this stuff started popping up. Because they're gonna make money off of it. That's why it's popping up. Like look at the Sefer Bible. They concocted that based off of us waking up. They concocted listening in on our conversations, seeing that we saw the books wasn't arranged right. So they come in all of a sudden, they supposed to have they awaken and they see that the books need to be arranged in the right order. So they come up with a Sefer Bible. And now these books like 200, 300, some of them $700, according to where you go to get it. So so all these. I mean, like I said, even back then, it was unheard of the book of Lamech and Cain. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, when all the people that was involved was searching, that Spirit was on us to search. Now they come out with all this information suddenly. That's how greedy they are, which is gonna be their downfall. Okay. Any comments? Anybody else got any comments or questions?
Shalom, brother Leonard. I think that makes sense too, because I know as far as I remember when I was real young, if you remember the football player Reggie White,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yes, sir. Remember he he was doing it the wrong way, but he
Right.
had found out he was a Jew or whatever like that, and that had sparked a lot of people's curiosity as well back then, because he was going against the traditional Christian, doctrine or whatever. And then a lot of information started coming out after that too. Now I was
Right.
way too young to get into it back then, but I do remember that because I remember Reggie White from the NFL.
Right. Right. And then, like I was saying before, with so many people they misguided it is like that they're saying it's a revolutionary spirit, but no, that's the spirit of Hebrew Israelite. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So those back in the day, those the men they targeted. Those are the ones that lynched and hung and beat to death. The ones that had that spirit on them. See what I'm saying? So when you had a guy, a regular guy that can have a spirit of the Most High on them, but he's not known, they're gonna look at him like a nut bucket anyway. But when you get a guy that's got a name for himself like Reggie White, and he start talking that stuff, oh, he's dangerous. They gotta do something with him. That's why he came up dead. Because he had a voice. Everybody was listening to him. And then he actually was raised in the church. He was a religious dude. I think he was a pastor. He went from being a pastor, and then he started going into started getting those revelations and started going into that. So he had this audience, and then they weren't going for it. And so, and then that was before the internet. And now it's pretty much a lot of things they gotta let slide because there's no way, it's no way to muffle all the information that's coming out. And then the people go ahead.
Oh no, keep going, sir.
Nah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say because you said with that internet, I was thinking how you were saying it was their greed, like the internet, something like the internet. You know, them building that to watch us, but it's being used against them
Exactly.
because we live in a global society.
Right. So you always got these people always hollering. They quote certain scriptures, but they don't really know what it's about. But when he says that in the last days knowledge was going to increase, ain't that the internet?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right there, something. So the Lord of hosts behind that, all of that, because that's the vehicle that's being used for us to wake up in a mass way. You ain't gonna. It's back in the day. You could have some brothers over, 5 or 6 brothers over in Africa that might be waking up or got that spirit of the Hebrew Israelite spirit on them, and few in Jamaica. It was no way in hell they was gonna ever link up. But now with the internet and with this technology, 5G and 6G and all that, it's happening. It's like at a blink of an eye.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. It's happening fast. And Brother Leonard too, just since I got on your class, it's been interesting too how there was books even back then, like in 19 or in 20 and stuff, that I couldn't find that now I can, but yeah, there was a lot of different books that I couldn't find or they were super expensive in 18 or
Mm-hmm.
19, and now they're, cheap $13, $14 now. I
Right.
found
Exactly.
that interesting too.
Well, yeah, and like I said before, what people don't understand was when he cast us off, he shut the temple down. He went back up. Not only did he scatter us, he scattered the word. So what these people doing now, they'll take, just say for Jasher, they'll take half of Jasher and bring it out and put it in the book and they making millions of dollars off of that, and then they'll bring another other half of Jasher out as another book. So so just like we scattered, the word been scattered, and that's what they don't understand. You can't eat no 66 books. That's a lot from the pits of hell. It's way bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's way bigger than that. And you gotta understand that. So you don't know where where the meat gonna come from. If the Most High put a spirit on you to get a certain book, get it, because you don't know what's in there that you're gonna come across that's gonna connect some dots for you, missing links. That's how I ended up with so many books. Yeah. Anybody else got anything? Any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
yeah.
Okay.
I just want to add to that. We're talking about the so-called Hebrew Israelites. Who runs that organization?
What do you mean? The Hebrew Israelite organization?
Yeah, who's the head of all that? Because as far as I've seen personally, like I said, I flew out to New York once and I ran across a couple of them. I was wearing my tassels. I was a Messianic at the time. Didn't know enough about the Israelites. I knew just enough to be able to talk to them. But I had one guy come, you know how they read scriptures out loud and all that other stuff. And he was doing that to me. And he was trying to say that Joshua was JC. And so I corrected him. Some other guy comes over, and to back him up, within 5 minutes, they walked away. They didn't even try to show me other scriptures.
Right.
It's almost as they know what they're teaching is wrong. And I wonder why in New York they're able to do it in the streets without the police even harassing them, which is, it's odd. That doesn't usually happen very much. So I wonder, who's really behind all this, especially since they still believe in JC anyway.
Right. You ever heard of the guy that I can't think of his name, but he dug up supposedly dug up Jerusalem. You heard of him? Can't think of his name. Over in it's called Telerod. It's
No, I'm not familiar with that.
yeah, I think it's let me see the name of the video. Returning to Zion, I think it's the name of the video. They dug up this area in Telerod, and anyway, it's fit the description of where Jerusalem and the area and in the Bible fit the description, and then it also fits desolation because he said that he made it desolate. No man was going to live there, not no trees or nothing. And then he was showing how he was showing where they was at in the real Jerusalem, how it was desolate, and he was showing the Jerusalem they showing today, they showing us, and how it was showing how the trees and all that stuff, and where they were saying the city of David was at and all that. He crossed, showing it, you know. Matter of fact, you see a lot of the images of that place that he dug up. You see it, but don't know what it is. So it's a lot of people that picked up on it, and they use it in their videos and stuff. But most people don't really know what the images be all about. But those are the images that they actually dug Jerusalem up. This was when I first started getting on YouTube. That was like 07, 08. Yeah. Tell her I mean, I got a lot of images in my early videos.
I have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, so he actually showing how it's sitting up on the hill, everything like the scripture say. And but anyway, he was breaking down. Okay, he said when the awakening first started was when a lot of Israelites started waking up over here in America back in I don't know the timeline, but I know it's tied to Liberia. They started waking up, and then the government got together and they said they didn't want the nation, the blacks in America, to catch hold to that. So the ones that was awakened, they gave them a safe passage to Liberia to build a black American colony in Africa, which is what Liberia is. That was to separate them, to get them away from the rest of the population in America. They didn't want that to catch fire. And so he was showing how that, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's in Chicago. It's got a rabbinical priesthood in Chicago. That's the head when they first started waking up. And then and the guys that's in New York, they call One West. They tied to them. All that information was all tied together. One West. You ever heard of One West?
No.
I've
Oh,
heard
yeah.
of One West, brother Leonard.
Yeah. One West. You got IUPK, House of David, all them branched off from GOCC. Them guys that's running GOCC, they was in One West at one time.
Wow.
So a lot of the Hebrews, the preaching on the corners and all that, and the way they'll do all that stuff, and they wear white, all that originated. Okay.
I didn't hear that last part.
I said the 12 tribe chart. The 12 tribe charts they got out that's spread around. Everybody's starting to rebuke it, but the 12 tribe chart is tied to One West, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. Hawaiians and all these people, different tribes, it ain't working, man. Okay.
A lot of that's not accurate, by the way.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then and my man over in Demona, they tied to the starting of this thing too. They tied in there. Can't think his name. Benjamin. They took
I
those
believe
people
I
to Africa.
talked to him before. Yeah.
Uh,
I believe
what
I
you say?
talked to him before.
I
Oh,
didn't
that's
hear
a guy they call Moses, right?
you. I'm not.
They
I ain't
call
never
him
heard him.
modern Moses.
Yeah, it could be him. But I never heard them say they called him Moses. It was.
He's the one that died?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
he
him.
took those people back in I think the 60s.
Right.
They went to Liberia first, like I was saying. Liberia
Yeah.
is tied to Hebrew Israelites. And then they stayed in Liberia for a while. Then eventually they migrated to Israel where they at now, today. Demona.
I think that says a lot when the guy who leads you there doesn't even make it himself. I told those guys when I talked to them, they weren't supposed to be there, but that's neither
Okay.
here.
Ain't that
But
something?
yeah, and then did they not already kick them out of there? I know they were doing that some
No.
time back. I don't.
Yeah, they tried to, but no, they found a way to
Hang in
you know,
there.
the guy I'm talking about that's over in Tel Aviv, he tied to that Demona too.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Ain't that something?
Brother Leonard, are they in there Israelites, sir?
In Demona?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah. Hebrew Israelite community. They kind of like, from my observation, they kind of like the blueprint when you start talking about Israelite communities, setting up communities for Israelite communities. I think Demona is like they kind of using Demona as a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got my man from Hebrews and Negroes over in South Africa. They got a community that's just starting up, and you got communities all over Africa now. African Americans that went there. So yeah, you got a lot of people that's leaving Great Britain, going back too.
Yes, I've been seeing that too. A lot of people leaving over there, the UK and all that stuff.
Exactly. Jamaica.
Right, yeah. All the Caribbeans, yes, sir.
Exactly. And that's what like I said, 2025 is what they was talking about in the King Apple plan. 2025 is that plan they was talking about. And Trump is that president when they said that when the emergency is declared, beyond no shadow of a doubt. Look at all the things he's doing. Everything he's doing is he attacking us, Hebrew Israelites, so-called Black Americans, because of we rising, and they see us rising. So this they last ditch effort to cut it off. That's what, like I said, look what he just passed. Talking about, it's like all the information that's coming out now is lies, and it's defiling the truth, which is all these lies they told us about white America, like about Columbus discovering America, when he ain't discovered America. He ain't, the Israelites have been coming over here hundreds of years before that. The Mali Empire, them Israelites, and I'm trying to find that video where I came across when the guy, it's called Seven, was the name of the channel, but I can't find the video where when they saying that when Columbus them came over here, they saw villages, and that's where a lot of this coming from. That these Negroes talking about the Indian the Indian is Israelites, and that America is Israel. So those it's a certain way that those people in Mali built their villages. It's the same way they built them. And when Columbus them came over here, those first explorers got here, they saw those villages all over the place, built the same way they was built in Mali. So I was trying to find it because I thought that was devastating. But yeah, exact struggle. So the story goes that Ibn Baka, I think is his name, which is the king that was king of Mali before Mansa Musa came. Mansa Musa became the king of Mali when Abu Bakr left with those 200 and some ships loaded down with gold and everything, and he went and crossed the Atlantic, and then he never returned. And that's how Mansa Musa came into play. So the story was they got they died, but they didn't. Because when the explorers started coming over here, Columbus and all them, they saw the villages built exactly the same way the villages in Mali was built. So they didn't die. They came over here. That's where that started. Talking about the black people were from here. They ain't from here. They came from Mali. The Israelites. Okay.
Yes, sir. That Brother Leonard, I've once I had came across that like that information because so I have a question. I gotta know what you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy you're talking about, from what I found, is Abu Bakari II, and
Yeah.
he was Mansa Musa's brother, and so that's how Mansa became the king, because his brother gave up the throne when he came over here. He's like, we ain't coming back.
Right. He was an
So
explorer.
right, yes, sir. And
Right.
then so, but that's one thing that I feel like they did on purpose. They always put that quest on Mansa Musa when it's like, no, he went to Mecca versus Abu Bakari came over here. And then this is just a theory question, Brother Leonard. They always say Mansa Musa was the richest man that ever lived.
Right.
But I gotta ask you this, because I'm thinking like a Hebrew. Wouldn't Adam have been the richest man to ever live?
When you go back to when he first said that, he told us in the scriptures that Havilah, where there's gold and where there's onyx stones, all that we see all that in Africa today, right?
Right, yes, sir. Right.
Then by the time you get to the Mali Empire and humans and Adam's descendants that multiplied, they just start digging in the ground, getting the gold. It was just there. Adam, see what I'm saying? So by the time you get to the Mali Empire and you go and watch that video, and they show you how he got the gold. They was mining the gold being salt. Salt was way more precious than the gold was. That's why he had
seen that.
Right. And so that ties to, like I was saying, they lied to us and said that the 10 tribes came to Ashtaroth, which is Ashtaroth is America. Ashtaroth is up at the top of Africa, behind the Sahara Desert, which is huge. And back then, very few people could cross the Sahara. They was afraid. But you had those so-called Berbers that they knew that region. They knew how to deal with it. They had trade routes coming out, certain trade routes coming through there. So eventually, those Israelites that fled Africa, fled their homeland Israel, they started coming down through those routes. That's how they ended up on the west coast of Africa. And so then those Israelites, being who they are, they took control of all of that. That's why they had all of. That's how Abu Bakr and what his name, Mansa Musa, had all that wealth. And so the thing you have to look at that is, how to look at that is, that's what brought about when Mansa Musa made that pilgrimage and went to Mecca, and the whole world, that whole area seen what kind of wealth he had and how he he was lavish with it, throwing it around. That's what brought the European to Africa. That's what brought about they carved up Africa at the Berlin Conference when they saw Mansa Musa.
I'd like to chime in on that also as well. I agree with what AJ's saying. Yeah, Mansa Musa was very rich, but didn't the Father give the care of the earth and to rule over the earth to Adam? So in a way, he would have been the richest man. In that way, anyway.
Yeah. He was the richest man, but it wasn't seen.
Yeah.
He controlled the whole earth, all the gold in the earth. But by the time you get to thousands of years later, and mankind multiplied, and they learned how to mine the gold.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And so it's visible. People seen what he had. They seen the gold and the diamonds and all the stuff that Mansa Musa acquired. But it's even bigger than that. From my research. So I don't know if you remember when in the book of Jasher, when the 11 sons finally ended up in Egypt, and Joseph had brought them to his house, and he hadn't revealed to them yet who he was. Right? They were tripping out because they were trying to figure out why the king, this man, royal man, second in charge in Egypt, why he showing them favoritism. They was all thrown off, and so not David, but Joseph and Benjamin had the same mother, right?
Right, yes, sir.
So Joseph felt the same type of way. He had missed Benjamin. Benjamin was his brother. So he brought Benjamin up in there. Moses they had all knowledge of astrology and all that. Not the wicked astrology. They had the knowledge of the stars and all that's in the book of Enoch. So he brought Benjamin in there and told him he had a map on the table. And he told Benjamin, read that map, because they knew how to do that. He read it, and he said, you're looking for your brother, right? And then he said, yeah. And he said, read the map. And Benjamin started reading the map, and he tracked it till right there. It was Benjamin. Joseph was standing right there in front of him, right?
Right, yes, sir.
And he saw him, but this is the trick. He said, when Benjamin looked at it, then he seen the crown on his head. This big old golden crown on his head, but not any old. The scriptures make a point to tell you the gold of Upas, the same gold that was around Michael waist when Daniel described him, right?
Yes, sir. Girded belt buckle.
Right, different type of gold. So that's what Mansa Musa had. That he was spreading out. He ain't just have no this gold they got now. He had that gold from Havilah, from Upas. That's the gold he had. And that's what he had on his head. So when I saw that, the first thing I said is, that's a Hebrew. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, sir.
And so when he came out on the whole world scene with all that gold, that's what brought the European to Africa. And that's when they had the Berlin Conference and divided Africa after they saw what the wealth that Mansa Musa had and that crown that was on his head.
Well,
They had been looking for the source. They had been looking for the source. They had been looking for the source of that gold. They couldn't find it, and they couldn't just come into Africa. You know, that's like for the longest, the white man couldn't just go in the hood.
Right, yes, sir.
So, you know what I'm saying? So for the longest, they couldn't just go in. They was afraid to go in Africa. That's why they had all these explorers and stuff going in Africa. Then finally, when Mansa Musa came on the scene, they knew where the mother lobe was at. They knew Mansa Musa, wherever Mansa Musa came from, which was Timbuktu in that region, they knew that's where the gold was at. That's when they came. And then that brought about the Berlin Conference.
Yes, sir. So I'll say it like this. So yeah, so that makes sense. So you're explaining to me that the glory of Mansa Musa, because since it was visible, they was able to mine the gold. They were able to see his wealth. So yeah, so
Right,
technically he had more wealth.
right, exactly. And then, like I said, when you understand the Lord of hosts, didn't he promise them that, didn't he promise those men earlier, those patriarchs, he was going to multiply their seed? They was going to be
Right,
greater than
that's
him.
true.
They're
That's
going to be
true.
greater than him. Right.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that something? Like I said, or what David had. David had, and like I said, these attractive guys, they ain't have no defects in their own. So these attractive guys, and David had what, 7 wives, right?
Right, yes, sir.
How many Solomon had?
Well, like
Yeah,
400.
yeah, more than that. Way
Yeah,
more
so,
than that.
yeah, exactly. They ain't include the concubines.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Wherever he went, he was the economy of these countries would collapse. That's how much gold the man had.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's pretty.
right. And that, like I was saying before, that's a lesson for us today. That's a lesson for the day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Collapse. That's how we gonna leave here. Collapse. Ain't that
And
something?
yes, sir. That's what they're and to that point, Brother Leonard, that just sparked the thought that I'm seeing too. And they're suppressing this, but Torre is demanding that the West give back
Right.
the gold. Like give
Exactly.
back the gold. You know,
Right.
yeah, we gonna keep mining, we gonna keep making the gold we producing, but no, y'all give back the gold that y'all have had in y'all reserves that y'all shouldn't have anyway.
Right.
You know,
And
and
right.
that's crazy.
Right. And the thing about it is it's under contract. So it ain't like it was a verbal agreement. It's a contract. So all they saying now is bring us our gold back. We got the paperwork. Bring it back. And then not only that, they requiring for them to bring back their artifacts and everything.
Right. Yes, sir.
But that's scripture.
Yes,
We
sir.
can't see it.
Prophecy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, prophecy. That's something. Anybody else got anything else? Any other questions, comments? Yeah, I'm gonna play this right here. I thought this is pretty interesting too. Yeah, like I said, it's tied to what we was talking about Wednesday, King Apple playing. I mean Tuesday.
Seen protest after protest all across the country as Americans have pushed back against this strategy, pushed back against what Donald Trump and his top campaign donor have been doing to the United States and to the federal government. Demonstrations all over the country. Now the activist group Indivisible is planning for a big one, but they want to be a big central demonstration where everybody shows up in the same place. Saturday, April 5th, Indivisible is announcing what they're calling Hands Off, a nationwide mobilization to stop the most brazen power grab in modern history. Joining us now is Ezra Levin, co-executive director of Indivisible. Ezra, thank you for being with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Of course, Rachel.
So look, listen, this guy here, the one over it. Look at his name, and then the name of the video is Diverse Groups Opposing Trump and Musk's Agenda are coalesced around a date of national protest. It's a Edomite, like I said, or hydrogen dialectic. Like I said, in order for the initiate King Apple plan, the Negroes, the Israelites got to be coming the streets in numbers. It didn't culminated down to this. But the element, what they need us to be in the streets. So like I was saying, go back to the women's lib movement. It was 3 Edomite women they brought over here. And it didn't work at first. The sisters wasn't going for it. Then they got that black singer that could sing like Whitney Houston. When they brought her in there, then the women's lib lit up like fire. And they ain't doing nothing no different. Now here you go with this. They're trying to get us in the streets. But the Most High got a spirit on us. We ain't trying to go in the streets. Okay?
So great to be here.
It's been a couple of weeks since we checked in. Tell me how Indivisible has been operating over these past few weeks. I know the president and Republican members of Congress have started to talk about you as if you are some sort of like foreign terrorist threat or something. We know that you've got their attention. How have things been from Indivisible's perspective?
Look, we're going through what's known as a wave moment in organizing circles as Indivisible. We had more local Indivisible groups join. These are volunteers. Start local Indivisible groups in their community in November than any months in 2017. We beat the November month in December, beat the December month in January, beat the January month in February. It's mid-March. We've had over 100 local Indivisible groups join, and these are peaceful protesters showing up to make their voices heard in red states, purple states, blue states. So how's it going? Well, the opposition is taking note and criticizing it, so I think it's going pretty darn well.
What's the plan for April 5th, and how is that different from the other kinds of actions that you guys have been taking part in?
So for the last several weeks, we've been hearing from old and new Indivisible group leaders, hey, we're all getting together, we're doing these actions locally, but when do we actually really the streets? When do we all show up in mass?
Yeah, his first name Ezra, and last name Levin. Come on, man.
Yes. That's what this is. I want to be clear. This is not just Indivisible. We're partnering with the brilliant folks over at 5051, with labor, with lots of other folks. But this is an organic, energy-fed moment. Anybody who is watching this can sign up and register an event in their community to say, look, hands off our jobs, hands off our democracy, hands off our volcano observatories. My God, we need to show up because DOGE and this administration is negatively impacting all of us in all of our communities. So yes, there's going to be a big presence in DC, but it's not just DC. I want to see this in rural areas, in suburban areas, in urban areas, in red states, purple states, blue states, and it's going to take all of us. So this is an opportunity for all of us to stay.
So this ain't nothing but another arm of Project 2025. To get us in the streets.
Get up together and demonstrate the power, the people power that is against DOGE, against Musk, against Trump.
You're seeing all different, I mean, we've been trying to track it on this show, trying all different kinds of protests from all different kinds of people in all different kinds of places. Again, this call on April 5th for everybody to do something together all on that day. Ezra Levin, co-executive director of Indivisible, thanks for your time tonight. I know you're a very busy man.
Okay, any comments?
Brother Leonard, when you say get us into the streets, you mean get us into the streets protesting and trying to
like George Floyd,
Oh, okay, right. Because
Black Lives Matter.
So they can use force against us, right?
Right. So they can implement the King Alpha plan. Like I was saying, you got when I was playing the video, you got the King Alpha plan, which was originated off of the violence that was going on in the 60s. That's when they concocted it. And it was the blacks. The blacks and the whites was at odds, and the blacks had started the Black Panther Party, and these militant brothers that came on the scene, so they had to come up with something. They knew it was going to come to a head eventually. So they created the King Alpha plan. But Ronald Reagan came in and amended it with Rex 84, right?
Right, yes, sir.
Well, look what they just done. They already got the Mexicans where they want. They got all these Mexicans over here everywhere. That's what Trump did. The first executive order he passed was to do a 90-day evaluation of the immigrants, and he's gonna come up with a solution based on what they tell him in 90 days, which is at the end of April. He's gonna come up with a solution. We know what that is, martial law. So they already got half of the King Alpha plan already in place. They got the Mexicans everywhere. They let them over here. That was the reason to let them over here. Now they got now Mossad put a spirit on us. We ain't about no protesting no more. But they trying to get us in the streets so they can implement the whole thing. The whole thing is about us. But we not in the streets. We ain't coming out like we did with George Floyd. They bedazzled. But they steady trying to find all kind of ways to get us out in the streets. Like I was saying when they killed those two little boys. See what I'm saying? They were twins. Any other time, we'd have been in the streets. Then they tried to provoke us with they saw the response that we did with George Floyd, so they try to feed off of that by saying they're gonna release the guy that killed him. They're gonna give him a pardon. Nobody ain't responding to that. They threw rocks at him for that. They ain't found. They haven't turned over the right rock yet to get us in the streets. But they steady shooting. They steady throwing rocks to find out what they can do to get us in the streets. But so far, it ain't happened. And like I said before, when you understand the election process they got in place, they only got 2 years, midterm. If they ain't accomplish what they wanted by 2 years, ain't nobody, none of them, look at all the white folks in the streets. They ain't voting for none of them people. They all gonna lose their jobs. So they got 2 years. They peeped this out. They got 2 years. Whatever it is they gonna do, they got 2 years to do it. Because when the midterms come, none of them gonna make it. They ain't gonna be in there. The Margie Green, all of them, they gonna kick them out. They gonna kick them in their ass and throw them out of the White House. So that's what you're looking at. That's why they hit the ground like they did. They got 2 years. What they doing? Any comments?
So we got 2 years.
They do.
What about us when we going to Africa?
They're based off of this. Most High put this spirit on them. So what they doing is going to cause us to leave here. They're gonna open the door for us to leave off of their ignorance. Most High got behind it. Ain't that something? Remember what he said. He came and told the Pharaoh to let us go, and Pharaoh turned around and said, "Well, he hardened the Pharaoh's heart," and the Pharaoh said, "No, tell them Negroes to make brick without straw." They've been making bricks all this time, build all these cities for us. Now let them make bricks without the straw. So look what they're doing. It's nothing no different. Now all of a sudden, now you want to backtrack and you want to bring back segregation, bring back all these things. You want to, like I said, it's a modern day make brick without straw. That's the Most High. That's his template. Because we ain't going backwards. We don't see nowhere in the scriptures where we had no back prophecies. All the prophecies went forward. So that's a detriment to them. Because you're actually kicking against the bricks. And then you don't know the prophecies. Okay? Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So everybody good on that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the topic, like
Yes,
I said,
sir.
the topic inside the class was, what I was doing was I'm going to Jasher and connecting dots. It's certain things that went on in Jasher. Like I said, they got it ass backwards. Jasher is holy. King James ain't holy. Jasher the one that's holy, right? Jasher is scripture. Thinking like a Hebrew, right? So I'm connecting dots from the book of Jasher to the bullshit stories that he gave us in King James because they've been diluted. So one of the first ones I want to do, this is not the first one on my paper, but I'm gonna do this as the first one. So we know the story of Tamar, right? Anybody know about Judah and Tamar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but can you give me a little breakdown on that?
Okay, so from what I feel like I remember, Brother Leonard, is she was first to be married to one of his boys, to one of his sons.
Right, exactly.
But whatever happened, that the Lord of hosts caused to happen, and then it ended up being because Judah first had children with a Canaanite woman first. And then
Right.
So to correct that breach, that's where Tamar came into play. That's my answer, sir.
Right. So let me get it like quick and find it in here. I think it's 38, if I'm not mistaken. Genesis 38. In the King James. Yeah, 38. Says it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned in into a certain Adulamite whose name was Haram. So that's this a man. Haram, he had a Adulamite man, Canaanite, as a friend. And Judah saw there, when he got there to see his friend Haram, Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua, and he took her and went into her. So he went in, like just like Jacob, just like Isaac did with Rebecca when Eliezer brought her back. As soon as he got he took her off the donkey and took her right in his mama's tent and consummated the relationship. He did the same thing right here. It says 2. Judah saw there a Dulamite, or daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shula, and he took her, took her right in there and went into her, right? And then she conceived and bore a son and called his name and she conceived again and bore his name. So they hard at it. She conceived again and bore a son, called his name Onan, and she yet again conceived and bore a son and called his name Shelah, and he was at Jabez when she bore him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. So that's where I want to go. So these 3 boys, Judah went and got them a wife. The eldest one, the eldest son, he went and got. Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. That's all they tell us. Now we're gonna go to show you what. Then this is gonna explain why everything else that happened after this. So if you go to Joshua 45, I'm in the book of Joshua, chapter 45. Okay. 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 So 45. Okay. So I'm gonna start reading at verse 1. It says, and it was at the time. So this is the version out of Joshua, based off of what we just read. And it was at that time in that year, which is the year of Joseph going down to Egypt after his brothers had sold him, that Reuben, the son of Jacob, went to Timnah and took unto him. So remember, if you go to, let's look at it, we're gonna make it plain. We'll go back over to back to 38. We're gonna we want to see what's happening. We go back to Genesis chapter 38, right? Okay, and you see that, and that's what I was saying about these names. We read over these names, but these names connect a lot of dots that you never would connect if you didn't zero in on these names. So it says, and Judah saw there a daughter, verse 2, 38 and 2. Judah saw there a daughter, and a certain Judahite whose name was Shelah, and he took her, and he went in. Let me see, he went in unto her, right? She conceived in verse 7. Judah's firstborn was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, go in. So these boys wicked because he bred with a Canaanite woman. The Most High told him not to be with. But the thing about it, what I was trying to connect the dot with was Timnah. This way he went. This way Judah went to Timnah to shear sheep, right? And so that's what it's telling you over here. The place where he went to go shear sheep at is away from Israel, away from his brethren. And he went there, These were Canaanites was at to shear his sheep. And that's when he went into this woman and got those 3 boys. So when you go to Joshua 45, and it was at that time in that year, which is the year that Joseph was going down to Egypt after his brethren had sold him, that Reuben, the son of Jacob, this Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob, the Reuben, the son of Jacob, went to Timor. See that? Same Judah did. Judah is the 4th son. Reuben, the son of Jacob, went to Timor. He went to the same place. And he took unto himself a wife, Ephraim, the daughter of Ava, a Canaanite. See that? He took a Canaanite woman based off what Judah done. And he came into her. And Ephraim, the wife of Reuben, conceived and bore him Hannah. Now you know why Israelites so wicked as hell. You got a good basket and a wicked basket. Then Hannah, Pulam, Chezim, Carmen, 4 sons, and Simeon his brother took his sister Dinah for a wife, and she bore unto him Mia, Hannah, Obed, Jacob. So what you looking at? 3 boys right here. Judah, Reuben, and Simeon took Canaanite women. Verse 3, and afterwards came to Bua, the Canaanite woman, and the same Bua whom Simeon took captive from the city of Shechem, and Buna was before Dana and attended unto her, and Simeon came to her, and she bore unto him Saul. And Judah went at that time to Adullam, and he came to a man of Adullam, and his name was Hira. And Judah saw there the daughter of a man, is what we just read in the King James, the daughter of a man from Canaan, and her name was Ajah, the daughter of Shu, and he took her. He came into her, and Ajah bore unto Judah Onan, and Shiloh, 3 sons. And Levi and Issachar went to the land of the east, and they took unto themselves for wives the daughters of Jacob, the son of Joktan, those Israelite women, and the sons of Eber. See that? Eber. They go back to Shem. And Jacob, the son of Joktan, had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Adinah, and the name of the younger was Aridah. And Levi took Ada, and Issachar took Aridah, and they came to the land of Canaan, to their father's house. And Aridah bore to Levi Gershon, Kenah, Merah, 3 sons. And Aridah bore unto Issachar Tula, right, of these Israelite women, 8. And Arphaxad was barren, and she had no offspring. And God afterwards remembered Aphelet, the wife of Dan, and she conceived and bore a son and called his name Cushan. And Gad and Naphtali went to Haran. See that? So this is the same place where Abraham sent Eliezer to get Rebekah right here. So it says, and Gad and Naphtali went to Haran. See that? To Haran, that's where Abraham came from, and Sarah, and took from thence the daughters of Aram, the son of Uz, the son of Nahor. See that? That's Abraham's brother, Nahor, for wives. And these are the names of the daughters of Aram. The name of the elder was Merimah, and the name of the younger was Uzzah. And Naphtali took Merimah, and Gad took Uzzah, and brought them to the land of Canaan, to their father's house. And Merimah bore unto Naphtali Yakzeel, Guzah, I can't say these names, 4 sons, and Uzzah bore unto Gad Zephon, Chagi, Shuna, Isabon, Ira, Arda, Arali, 7 sons, right? And Asher went forth and took Adon, the daughter of Ala, son of Hadad, son of Ishmael, for a wife, and he brought her to the land of Canaan. And we skipped down to 15, and Hadad bore a daughter to Michal, and he called her name Sirach. And Michal died after this, and Hagar went and remained in her father's house. And after the death of the wife of Asher, he went and took Hadad for a wife and brought her to the land of Canaan. And Sirach, her daughter, he also brought with him them, and she was 3 years old. And the damsel was brought up in Jacob's house. And the damsel was a comely appearance, and she went in the sanctified ways of the children of Jacob, and she lacked nothing. And the Lord gave her wisdom and understanding. And Hadad, the wife of Asher, conceived and bore unto him Yimnah, Yeshua, Issachar, and Berah, 4 sons. And Zebulun went to Midian and took for a wife Mirishak, the daughter of Mahlon, and son of Abiel, son of Midian, and brought her to the land of Canaan. And Meshach bore to Zebulun Siri, Elam, Yachleel, 3 sons. And Jacob sent to Aram, the son of Zuba, the son of Terah, and he took for his son Benjamin, Michal, the daughter of Aram, and she came to the land of Canaan, to the house of Jacob. And Benjamin was 10 years old when he took Michal, the daughter of Aram, for a wife. And Michal conceived and bore unto Benjamin, it's the David brother, Bela, Beka, Ashbel, Galam, Naaman, 5 sons. And Benjamin went afterwards and took for a wife Arabah, daughter of Shimron, the son of Abraham, in addition to his first wife. And he was 18 years old, and Arabah bore unto him Benjamin, Archiel, unto Benjamin, Archiel, Both, Mopin, Chapin, whatever it is, or 5 sons. Now, here go where I was going. I read all that to read this. And in those days, Judah, we back to Judah, right? And Tamar. In those days, Judah went to the house of Shem. See that? Shem's still alive. We read over this. And Judah went to the house of Shem and took Tamar. See that? So Judah went to Shem's house. That's why so much drama around Tamar. And in those days, Judah went to Shem and took Tamar, the daughter of Elam, the son of Shem, for a wife for his firstborn See that? So this is Shem's daughter that he went and got for the Chaldean, for And then they disrespected him. He pulled out. He killed the Lord of hosts. That's why he killing him. He killed him. And then Olin went in and he did the same thing. He killed him. And so then finally, the whole time, the Most High wanted Judah to be with Tamar. This is where the house of Judah came from. Tamar and Judah. Read that again. 23. This is Jasher 45 and 23. And in those days, Judah went to the house of Shem. See that? And took Tamar, the daughter of Elam, son of Shem, for a wife for his firstborn son. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 10, King James. You'll see exactly what's going on. And they explain a whole lot. So you go to Genesis chapter 10, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So it says, descendants of Shem, chapter 10, chapter 11, verse 10. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and he begot Araphat 2 years after the flood. Shem lived after he had begot Araphat 500 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Araphat lived 530 years, and he begot Shula. And Araphat lived after he begot Shula and 3 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Shula lived after 30 years, and he begot Eber. And Shula lived after he begot Eber 403 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived lived 430 years, and begot Peleg. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begot Ru. And Peleg lived after he begot Ru 209 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Ru lived after 30 years and begot Shirah. And Ru lived after he had begot Shirah 207 years, begot sons and daughters. And Shirah lived after he begot 30 years, and he begot Nahor, right? And Shirah lived after he begot Nahor 200 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 20 years, and he begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years, and he begot Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. And then now these are the generations of Terah. We got Abram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lud, and Haran died. No, I think I'm on the wrong lineage. Okay, let me get over here, back over here. It's got 2 lineages of Shem. You got Ham, Shem. Let me see. That's another one. Okay, yeah. At 21. And unto Shem, after the flood, the children of Eber, 21, 10 and 21. Unto Shem, after also the father of all the children of Eber, the boys of Japhat, brother of Japhat, the elder, even to him were children born. And the children of Shem, there you go. The children of Shem, they go Elam. See that? The children of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, and Lud. So right here, remember how before the flood, it says that he had other sons and daughters, but he had a called seed. Like with Adam. Adam had son in his likeness, in his image, and called him Seth, but he had other sons and daughters. So when you look at right here, chapter 10, verse 21, unto Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japhat, the elder, even to him were children born. Then and the children of Shem, right? Shem, the children, sons, Elam, Asher, but Arphaxad is the called seed. See, Arphaxad was the called seed, but Elam is his brother, but he's not the called seed. That's where Judah went and got a son from Elam, which is where Tamar come from. Okay, so when I went to chapter 11 and verse 10, and it says, these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad. See that? So Arphaxad is the called seed. 200 years after the flood. And Shem lived after, so they picking back up what they did in Genesis chapter 4, 5. And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad, which is called seed, 500 years. And he begot sons and daughters. But over here in chapter 10, in verse 21, they give you all the sons. But in 10 and 11 and 11 and 10, they just give you the call seed. Right? So but Shem was still alive. Judah went to Shem's house, and Elam's still alive. And he got Tamar and brought her back. He wanted his son to marry Israelite women, but he didn't. He slept with a Canaanite woman. But now he wanted to fix it by going and getting Tamar from Shem's house, and supposedly, I guess he figured he was going to line everything out. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
Shalom. One other thing, Brother Leonard, I saw where they had Ishmael, which was Abraham's son, in that same area we was reading. His name came up.
Yeah. They married Ishmael. They married daughters out of Ishmael family too. If you go to Genesis, I think it's 38. Let me see what. Let me see. Guys. Okay. Yeah, 36. Go to Genesis 36. You there?
No,
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Leonard, I'm on a tablet and I'm over in Jasper 45
Okay.
and 14 or something, but I'm listening.
Okay, Genesis 36. It's the descendants of Esau. It says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Edom, a Hittite, Abilah, the daughter of Anak, the daughter of Zebulun, a Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter. See that? They all doing that. So that was Genesis 36 and 3. So
Yes,
Esau
sir.
married a daughter out of Ishmael too.
Okay, and Ishmael having Abraham's seed, he had the Hebrew seed.
Right, yeah, right, exactly. His mother was Egyptian, but his father was an Israelite. Exactly.
I've never been in the book of Jasper until tonight, so I'm pulling it up on my little tablet. I'm learning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so that was anybody got any comments on that question?
Well, I just want to say that
Say it again.
I just want to say that on a DNA side, obviously, we could see that, Joseph's children were Israelites by their DNA, but also the Ishmaelites, they don't have the exact markers that we do.
Right, exactly.
They're from the E line, but they don't have the same markers that we do as Israelites.
Right, exactly.
Excuse me, what do you mean when you say markers?
In other words, everybody is identified by certain DNA, like E1B1A would be the Israelites. The Ishmaelites, I think they're E1A. They're not E1B1A, which would determine who the Israelites are.
DNA sequences. That's what that is. What you're talking about. Got different DNA sequences. Right.
Okay.
Right. So I got one more before we close out, and then we'll get a pick of scripture. This one is well, I keep saying about the favor. That's what people nowadays not understanding that what's getting ready to happen was is the Lord's favor. And we're not going to get caught up in all these wars and these conflicts that's going on. The Most High is going to put his favor going to come on us, just like it did in Egypt. So I'm in Jasher 45 and Jasher 29 verse 38. Let me get it. '29 and 38 says, this is when Jacob and Esau had that drama between each one of them, and now they got older. Jacob got all his sons, and he on his way back to his father's house, and Esau on his way back too. Jacob thinking he gonna, Jacob got all these sons, they giants, because Jacob to mingle with these giant women. So 38 says, this is Jasher 38 and 29, 38. And the Lord calls, see that? So they getting ready to meet. Jacob's afraid. It says, and the Lord calls Jacob to find favor in the sight of Eliphaz. This one of Esau's sons. He a giant. Sight of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, and his men, they giants. And they hearkened to the voice of Jacob, and they did not put him to death. and Eliphaz his men. Now Eliphaz is violent, but the Most High didn't put a spirit on him right here. So it says, and they did not put him to death, and Eliphaz and his men took all belonging to Jacob together with the silver and the gold that he had brought with him from Bathsheba, and they left him nothing. And Eliphaz and his men went away from him, and they returned to Esau to Bathsheba, and they told him all that had occurred to them with Jacob, and they gave him all that they had taken from Jacob. So they robbed Jacob, but Most High put a spirit on them where they didn't kill him. And so that's why, like I was saying, these missing links in it. That's why when Jacob got to Laban's house, he reacted the way he did because he had been robbed. You know, in the Hebrew Israelite culture, you don't go to a man's house without nothing and don't have nothing to give him. So Jacob was ashamed when he got to Laban's house, which is his mother's brother. He ain't had nothing to give him. Even Rebecca had gave him a bunch of stuff to give to Laban when he got there, but Eliphaz done robbed him. And that's why Laban is feeling the way he is. He's saying that when you came here, you had nothing. But the Most High favor was on Jacob. And Jacob ended up having flocks and herds and handmaidens and men servants and maid servants, same way with Abraham. Favor of the Lord was on him. There's nothing gonna happen to him. Like I said with David. David's surrounded by giants, but he lived a whole full life. Jacob, he lived a full life. That's the favor of the Lord. That's what's it's on us. It's on us now, really, because like I said, we all of a sudden we got this spirit on us. Well, we're not trying to protest. They thinking they got us tagged. We gonna run in the streets, but Most High got no spirit on us now. Okay.
Yeah, shalom, brother Leonard. Now I got to read the book of Jasper because I never knew what you just said about before Jacob got to his future father-in-law that he was robbed. I never knew that.
Yeah, he got robbed by like I was saying. I was just in 36, Genesis 36. It gives you the descendants of Esau. All them reasons Esau went and chose the women he chose because they was from a giant lineage. He wanted giant sons. Back to the prophecy when Rebecca was having trouble in her womb, and Abraham told her, "It's two manner of people in your womb. One is stronger than the other one." And you would assume he's talking about Jacob stronger than Esau, but no, Esau stronger than Jacob because of the lineage he married into. You got all these giant sons, Amalek, Eliphaz, all them giants, redhead giants. Yeah.
Shalom, brother Leonard.
Okay.
With Esau, when Rebecca was taken,
Right.
is Esau a Canaanite?
Yeah. Here Canaanite. That's another one they tricked off. But like I said, they tricked you off and got you thinking Japhat and Ham is Noah's sons, but they ain't. They when you understand when they concocted JC and he had to die for all of humanity. So they want you to think it's one blood. Everybody came from Adam, but everybody didn't come from Adam. So they had to go back and trick all that off. So you even go to the story of remember Abraham ended up down in with Amalek, right? And he told Sarah to tell the people that he was her brother, right?
Right, yes, sir. So they want to kill him.
Right. But later on, another family came, Isaac, and Rebecca ended up in the same place. And Isaac told Rebecca to tell them the same thing, to tell him I'm your brother. But this dude took Rebecca, had her for a long time in his house. And then he just happened to peep out. He thinking they brother and sister. He come out and peeped out his window, and he saw, the scripture say he saw Isaac sporting with Rebecca, and he knew it was his wife. And he nutted up. Let's look at that right quick. So let's go to it. So it didn't quite go down like it did with Abraham and Sarah. The Lord of hosts cut Sarah off. He didn't allow Amalek to sleep with Sarah. He says that night he came and cut him off and threatened him. So let's go to Genesis. I think it's gotta go back. Okay. Yeah, it's chapter 26, verse 26. So I'm in Genesis 26, verse 26. Then Amalek went to him from Gerar, and Abazar, one of his friends, and Piscal, captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. And let me see if I'm in the right place. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so it says 29, and they said, we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee, and we said, let there be now an oath between me and you, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee and thou. Okay.
Brother Leonard, I think it's 26 and verse 6, sir.
Okay, verse 6, let me see. Oh, yeah, Isaac, yeah, there it is. 6. Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife. Same thing with Abraham. And they said, she is my sister. For he feared to say, she is my wife. Let's say the men of the place should kill me for Rebecca, because she was a fair to look upon. And it came to pass when he had been there. See that? See this? He already took her, right? It came to pass when it had been a long time. See that? Not like with Rebecca, not like with Sarah. That night the Lord came and cut him off. He says that Amalek, king of the Philistines, looked out his window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebecca, his wife. And Amalek called and said, behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how sayest thou, she is thy sister? And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her. And Amalek said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? So what that take you back to? Genesis, right? When the
Right, yes, sir, in the garden.
Lord asked him, what is thou hast done, right? What did that serpent done?
Slept with
right?
Eve.
Here you go again, right here. And Amalek said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might have lightly have lain with thy wife, and thou should have brought guiltiness upon us. And Amalek charged all his people, saying, ye that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely die. So see how he all of a sudden, it's drastic. He, you know what I mean? It's like he know he did something wrong. And then, like I said before, you can fumble with it if you want, but when he was born, what kind of hair he had? Esau.
Red all over.
Amalek got red hair, red all over. Come on. DNA don't lie. Ain't that something? Like I said
Yes,
before, my example is over here when the slaves was running from the plantations and ended up in the villages with the Indians, and then they start seeing Indians with afros. Shit, how they get the afro? They ain't going to no beauty shop or go get no afro sheen. It's a Negro in one of them tents. If the kids got afros, it's a Negro in one of the tents. DNA don't lie. Okay? You can fumble with it all you want. Just like why you got white folks. You go to a sundown town and you see mixed kids running around there with afros. Shit, you can't play with that. But one thing is a Negro somewhere in the town. They ain't got no afros on accident. Come on. What that song?
yes, sir. And so too, Brother Leonard. Just in case, when people watch it back, this is saying that a woman is pregnant by two different fathers, and these children are twins, but they don't have the same father. But this is possible because of angelic DNA being passed down through Amalek or Abimelech, whichever his name.
Right. And so that's another thing. I don't really talk about it, but so we, like Abraham and our father said when the Lord was talking to Ezekiel, Ezekiel said, I'm just a sojourner down here, right? I'm just a sojourner down here from heaven, right? So when he was in heaven, he was a spirit, right?
Right, yes, sir.
His spirit, the flesh ain't in heaven. So his spirit. So that's what you saw when he formed the jacket on the ground, the body, the flesh part of it. Then he breathed the spirit in the Adam. So the spirit, the flesh only gonna last so long. It's gonna die off. Then the spirit go back up. So when you look at that and look at the situation, it's the spirit part of it that we dealing with. That's who when you say five senses, the flesh don't have five senses. It's the spirit that's in the flesh that's making it out of five senses. And you have to rightly divide. You have to look at that and rightly divide. Okay.
Yes, sir. That makes a lot of sense because it's in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach where he has said the Hebrews have 7 senses, but he said it's because of what you just said. He said because the spirit that we have. So and he said it's discernment is the 7th sense, I guess, in a sense.
Right. Right. And like we see today, they don't have discernment. Look what they're doing now. Like I said, why you gonna you already in a jam, but you gonna put tariffs on bricks? See what I'm saying? These 5 countries rising, and all the rest of the world to jump behind them. All the 168 countries that jump behind bricks. You gonna come out of nowhere, and you gonna put tariffs on them. How you think it's gonna turn out? Come on, man. There ain't no wisdom or no reasoning. Come on. But there's something.
Yes, sir. That's asking for the nation to be demolished.
Exactly. I mean, look at the Pharaoh. Go ahead. Somebody had something?
No, that's all right. Go ahead, finish, and I'll say something afterwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say look at the Pharaoh. The Lord of hosts showed up there. He brought flies. He multiplied flies, frogs. He turned the water to blood. Okay. What you thought he was gonna do? I mean, he showed you what he capable of doing. but you steady going in the same direction, but you see what you're dealing with. Come on. That ain't no reasoning. And then so I let you know he lacking. He lacking. Like I said, he had a ham. So how they brothers? He ain't got no, he lacking. They done multiply frogs and like I said, and lice, turned the whole river Nile to blood, and you still going against this being. Come on. What you got?
No, I was just thinking about the Canaanites. Weren't they giants?
Right. They come from a mixture of angels sleeping with women.
So isn't that kind of a dichotomy, the fact that they were giants? I imagine the women must have been pretty tall, no?
Yeah, they was. The Canaanites, and that's what a lot of people don't, the picture ain't been formed in their head, but from Egypt all the way to the land of Canaan is giants. Egypt was called the land of giants. Like I said, it's got a video with a 2-part series on it called Egypt, the land of giants. You probably need to watch that. I recommend anybody to watch that. So yeah, all the region is giants.
The reason I'm saying it is because, I mean, if our people married into these women, what were they marrying giant women? I mean,
yeah, they married giant women. They was marrying women that had the giant DNA in them, genetics.
Wow.
Right.
Crazy.
Like WNBA women. They 6'8", 6'9".
Right. We looking past that. Like I said, with the long necks. You got these people with these big long ass necks. That's not human.
Yeah.
Come on. But we got, and that was the purpose of taking out the book of Enoch. That's why he denigrated it, so you can't think along them lines. They don't want you to see that, but it's obvious. Like I said, you can go anywhere in America and get you a soda, a Coke, and park on the side of the highway, and every other car pass by there is going to be a European or Anglo-Saxon in there with key up to the window. Throw. So how is that ain't none that ain't nothing no son. Ain't no way in hell. Is there something? Somebody want to get a scripture before we can break it down before we go? Everybody good?
Oh yes, sir. I got a scripture, Brother Leonard.
Okay.
It's this Ezekiel. I'm sorry, Ezekiel 28, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have been dealing with Genesis a lot lately. With the angel in the garden. So just a few verses from it when he's talking to the angel. So 28 and 11. So moreover, the word of the Lord came on to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardonyx, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, and the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of your tabrets and of your pipes was prepared in thee in the day thou was created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. You wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the fire, in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned, and therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. I'll stop right there, Brother Leonard.
Okay. So
I
yeah,
was,
so
yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I get your wisdom on that?
Yeah. So like I was saying, when you first started reading it, who talking?
The Lord God, the Lord of hosts.
Michael, right?
Yes, sir.
An angel. And his name is He Who Created, right? He got the ability to create. He Who Created. That's what his name means, right?
Right, yes, sir.
So what did he just say? I saw you fall from heaven, and the day that you what? And I
Were
created you.
created.
See that? And everybody look over there. He said, the day that I was created, then you keep on reading. He said, I'm the one gonna shut you down. Not Yahweh. You see that?
Yes, sir. Cause I was gonna say, sir, it sounds like, and not to bring up the New Testament at all, but it actually sounds like this is when Michael the archangel kicked out Satan or the devil or that dragon out of heaven
Yeah,
in
that's when it
verse
happened.
16.
Yeah, I saw you falling from heaven. That's Michael talking, not Yahweh. He said, I saw you falling from heaven. And then he said the tablets and the pipes and all that was in you. He said, I said it so. I said all that in you. And the day that you was created. And so, like I was saying before, so many people don't understand formed and created, right?
Right. There's a difference. To form is
Right.
to mold, right?
So who was the first angel formed?
Michael.
Okay. Who was the first one created?
Samuel.
There you go. That's the difference. But they'll turn around and say when you listen to these devil worshipers and Samuel worship, they're gonna say Samuel was the first angel created. Now understanding there's a difference in created and formed. See what I'm saying?
Right, yes, sir. And they spin it.
Yeah, they spin it. But most of it is ignorance. They don't understand that they think creating is the same thing. So like I was saying before, it's evidence right now today. Look at the talent that we have as Israelites and all the gifts that we have because we was formed. That's what that's telling you. The people that's got all these talents and the gifts, they was formed. Like the Most High said, set apart people, a holy race. That we was formed. Everybody, nobody else wasn't formed. We was formed. We know that He created a man and a woman on the sixth day. They weren't formed. And the evidence is glaring today. That's why we so different. That's why we so talented. It's nothing to be haughty about or puffed up, but you got to see everything the way that it, for what it is. Like I said, go into a town and a sundown town, and you seeing these kids running around there with afros, and you're gonna say, "No, they ain't no niggas here, ain't no Negroes here. We ain't no way no Negroes here." You see the kids. There's some Negroes somewhere. Come on. And there's some.
Right, yes, sir.
Right. The creator, that's the DNA is created that. That's over our head. You can't disannul that and ignore it. It's speaking. You know what I'm saying? That's like with on Maury Povey. That's why they got the DNA test. You can jump, flip, and do all you want, but when they do the DNA test, and the DNA gonna tell the truth. You can sit there and deny all you want. Okay. Anybody got anything else before we go?
I just want to add that, you're right. We're talking about DNA. I mean, if we believe that slavery happened and all that came with it, and the way these people raped our women and stuff like that, we know that obviously, a lot of the children that were born, even physically, may be in every way with the Afro look just like a Negro, but they're what we call Negropeans. Okay, they're not, because of the father, they're actually European. And this is why it's so important, because the father clearly states, promising to Abraham about a seed. And we know what the seed is because Onan spilled the seed on the ground, and we know that's sperm, and sperm is DNA. Okay, so the DNA clearly tells us, who is and who isn't. So yeah, we shouldn't hate DNA that is created by the Father Himself, so that we could determine who's who in the end. And that doesn't mean because a person is not 100% Israelite that they can't be accepted if they accept Him. So they should, at least look at that part. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. That's what I was saying about when people not understanding about the covenant. First of all, they caught up with JC, but when you understand David is the Messiah, and the Most High said it's gonna always be a seed, DNA out of David lineage that's gonna be on the throne. And if that boy is not out of David lineage, it's a problem in Israel, it's a breach in Israel. But the covenant that he had with David is that it's gonna be some wicked ones, but I'm always raise up a righteous seed like you. After so long, we're gonna be, and Isaiah is chapter 1, verse 1 is the prime example. You got Uzi, Jotham, and Ahaz. All three of them was wicked. Then Hezekiah came. That's the covenant right there. Those first three men was wicked as hell and led the people away from the Lord of hosts. Then he brought up Hezekiah like David. Hezekiah reformed Israel, brought the people back to him. So what that tells me, the Most High got the DNA on the yo-yo train. He the one controlling the DNA. That's what the people not understanding. He controlling the DNA. He got it. Like I said, Jesus can't control the DNA. Come on. He the one controlling the DNA. He controlling when a woman have a baby and when she don't have a baby.
And I think also he talks about cleansing us in the end. I really believe that cleansing is that part of the DNA that we have in us that we didn't want it in us, that it just happened through slavery, that he has the ability to rectify that, obviously.
Right, take it out at the end. Oh yeah. Like he said, cleanse us. And then he tells us the reason why we can't eat blood, no meat with blood in it, because life, DNA is in the blood. That's why we can't eat blood. Come on. Ain't that something?
Certainly is.
Right. So with that being said, everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Very good class. I'm being enlightened and enlightened.
Okay. All right, so with that being said, I'll say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all in the morning for our Shabbat class. It's from 10 to 12 p.m. in the morning. Then we come back in the evening, close Shabbat out from 6 to 7. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the
God of Israel is and the Godhead.